Hey, welcome to the Grow with Joe podcast. I'm your coach Joe, and today we're talking about all the things that don't seem that great this season. Lockdown, depending on where you are, there are only a certain amount of people you can meet during Christmas and New Year's. There are only a certain amount of people you can have at your house. There are people who are battling sickness right now, all kinds of different sicknesses. There have been so many deaths that I've heard of just in the last week. And so I want to tackle this side of the situation, right? This side of the equation. Now, our coaching group has an international database, international membership base. And so we have people from all over the world, and there are such different situations. Now, I'm in New Zealand, and lucky for us, we are allowed to meet in big gatherings, and it's fine. But you might be in the UK, where right now everything's really tight. You might be in places in Australia. You might be in America, where things are tight. There's restrictions. You have to wear a mask. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And you might be asking this question like, what's going on? Look at them. They're so blessed. What about me? And I want to hit this subject. I want to hit it hard, okay? At some point in your life, no matter what is going on, you are going to have to trust that God is able to do something in your life, irrespective of what's happening on the outside. You see, the system, the government that you are under is a kingdom government. You have a king. You might have a president in your nation, a prime minister in your nation, but your heart needs to decide whether you are serving a king or you are serving a Babylonian system, an earthly system. Because if you are under this kingdom, the kingdom of God, then these rules and these things, even though you have to abide by them and follow them in the natural, there is something more powerful happening in this system that cannot be stopped. You might be like, what are you on about, Joseph? Well, here's what I'm saying to you. If you are in a country where you are not allowed to meet anybody else and you are isolated by yourself, God is right there with you. If you're in a country where you can meet 2 families, 3 families, where you have to wear a mask when you walk out, if you're in a country where you can meet everybody, God is right there with you, and He is doing something in you that is more important than anything else that's going to happen outside you. What He does in us is more important than what happens outside us, because the work He does within us is an eternal work. It is forever. That transformation that happens on the inside is forever. And so if you are in a place where you can't meet anyone else and you're seeing other people meet, you could go 2 ways. One way, you can start to feel really bad and be angry and disappointed and sad and whatever, and time's gonna pass and you have to follow the rules, you follow the laws, and you can't meet anybody, and you can just feel rubbish about it, and all kinds of stuff might start to brew in your heart and take you down a path that doesn't end up in freedom. Or you can come down this path where you say, God, you know what's happening in my country. You knew this before the foundation of the world. What are you doing currently in me? This is the question that could change your whole life if you get good at asking this, no matter what you're going through. What are you currently doing in me, Lord? What are you doing in me? Who are you showing yourself to be to me right now in this season? You see, you could be in a church and there could be somebody sitting here and God might be telling them to fast. No more food, get off the food, get off the water, come to me. And the person right next to them, God might be telling them to feast, eat, go for it. You see, we're so conditioned that everybody should be doing the same thing at the same time in the same way, and that's where we get messed up. So God is not surprised that in your country you can't meet all these people. You think He's limited? You think He can't do something? You think He's stuck? You think God is shocked? No. And there is something amazing He's doing in you. He is no respecter of persons, which means what He is doing in public in New Zealand in a public gathering that might seem special, He's also doing in the private gatherings, in the private meetings with Him, because He is no respecter of persons. The only difference is your perspective. The only difference is your view of who God is. And this is super important. You see, in the story of the talents, the 5, 3, and 1, the man with the 1 talent, the one who buried his talent, had a view of God that was scary. He viewed God as a harsh taskmaster. He viewed God as one that was going to reap where He doesn't sow, and he viewed Him as a ruthless God. So out of fear, he buried his talent. Your view of God makes all the difference, because right now, What do you believe God is doing? There are people that will throw scriptures and say all the right things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the real truth that you are believing right now. What do you believe God is doing, especially in a situation in your life that doesn't make sense? I can guarantee you He is doing something in you that is more powerful than you realize, because it is more important what happens in you that's going to last and speak for eternity is more important than some of the things that you think need to happen through you or outside you. So get that perspective. You know, Trent Sheldon, a motivational speaker, he says that your perspective can either be your prison or your palace, right? Your perspective makes all the difference. How you view a situation makes all the difference. Do you want to view from being seated in heavenly places with Jesus, far above all principalities, a system, a kingdom that is very different to this world? Do you want to view from there, or do you want to keep viewing and living from here? And this is one of our problems, is if we try and appropriate His promises, His will, and live on this earth, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion the way He wants us to, that He's spoken it from here. If we try and step into that life, but think from here and live from here and stay under this earthly system, under man, under the rule of man, we're going to miss out. There is no way you can have everything He wants you to have if you're going to live under this system. So whatever you're going through right now, you need a perspective shift. A perspective shift. You might be sick right now. You might be in hospital. There are some friends of mine who are going through physical challenges right now. In all of this, He is good, and there is something He is doing within us. Ask Him the right question. What are you doing in me, Lord? What are you doing in me, and who are you showing yourself to be to me? See, this individual walk is very, very important. I could be walking with people, and three of us, good friends, serving the same God in the same way, might hear three different things, three different instructions, three different invitations into three different assignments. It is very important you understand that what you're seeing on the outside, it does not surprise God, and He is doing something special on your inside. Perspective. Switch your perspective. So I want to challenge you. Ask yourself this question. God, what are you doing? What are you doing? Spend time with the Lord and ask Him, what are you doing in me? What are you wanting to be to me? These are more important than what He's about to do through you, okay? Because no season is a waste. Now, if you go down this path and you keep crying about what you don't have, you're going to end up with more of that. And I can guarantee you 6 months from now, you're going to be in the same place. But if you come here and ask these questions, I can guarantee you 6 months from now, your life's going to look very different. Now, I want to tell you something. I don't know what's about to happen in your nation. I don't know what the government's planning. I don't know what Satan's already planned, but he can't win. He can't win. Jesus said, fear not, I have overcome the world. He has already overcome. So you can't lose, but you can't play the game your way. You're going to have to step into the kingdom and His way, His heart, His way, His heart. All right, so I want to encourage you. Isaac sowed in a time of famine, in a time where it made no sense, where it looked on the outside like, oh, this is bad. And here's a guy sows into this dry ground that's dead, and yet he reaps 100-fold. This is the season we are in this year, next year, the year after that, the ones that are going to live by this system. In the midst of the chaos, in the midst of everything that doesn't make sense, they're going to see heaven manifest in them first. In them first. The kingdom of God seeks to be established within the heart of man first, and it overflows into everything else and everywhere else. So I hope that it helped you. I hope that encouraged you. Please, in the comments, let me know where you at, what's going on, and remember to share this with people. If you know someone struggling, if you know people affected by lockdown or loneliness or sickness or disease, share these with them, and we can help as many people as possible. And I'm super excited. We've got a few days left before 2021 officially kicks off, and it holds some amazing things in store for us. So I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.